Hello everyone, it's me, Otherworldly, and this is a second episode of First Time series. I have to start up my channel somehow. This is like the third video, and I don't want this channel to start off with just first time, where I will just do bunch of shit and just make reviews out of it. No, I haven't really done much substances, so to say, psychoactive substances, so I don't really have like so much to say. I had a few trips, but the first time series gotta start in some way, right? So first time trying acid. For people that don't know, acid, or most people know though, but acid is LSD, which is a psychedelic. You get a little euphoria, and you feel kind of better. People also like the microdose, where you take a small amount, and it's supposed to help you with your mood and overall how you feel. But bigger doses can give you pretty insane visuals. So how it came down to it, how did I from zero go up to having the LSD? So I always wanted to try a psychedelic, and I wanted it to be LSD, but everyone around me, even friends that were kind of playing around that, so to say, psychoactive scene, not like a junkie scene where you just sit on the bridge and inject heroin, like, it's recreational use, it's for having fun. So none of my friends could get me the acid. There was no way everyone could get me. I was asking people for months. I was trying so hard. I wanted even to overpay, but no one was able to get it to me. Nobody. No one was in the possession. So I was kind of disappointed. I was really mad. Like, no one was able to help me out. Like, nobody. I decided to find my own way of getting it. And I started searching the internet. The beautiful internet of possibilities. So it took me some time. I was really learning how to do everything, how to set up your PC. We're not gonna get into details here, but you simply gotta prepare to make it right. Because if you're doing such things, you simply gotta be prepared. You can't just go into the deep waters without having any preparation, any knowledge about the topic. So I ordered these acid tabs, and I think it was a week, like exactly a week before they came. So I simply got them from the post office. I was like really excited getting them. I got them, and I really just took off home like being happy as hell. I was really happy at that point. I was, wow, that was good, that was good. So I came home, went to my room, opened the package. And the package was, you would never really know that would be something of that sort inside the package. We're not gonna get into details because, as many of you guys know, every vendor has their own way of packaging the packages. They have their own way of setting them up. So speaking about how the package looked, it just disrespectful, straight up disrespectful. That's not something you do, regards for all that vendor does to you when he delivers it to you. You both are at a risk, and they need to do it stealthily, and to keep the business running, you need to simply give them a break and don't talk on the internet about what a package is and what it looks like. So anyway, I open the package, get to look at the acid, and oh boy, that was beautiful. Like, these tabs were like, I think these were the Maya tabs. Like, they look kind of colorful and exotic, like some jungle leaves and colors and stuff like that. So I had the acid. I waited for a weekend to take the acid with my friends. I didn't want to take it alone. I wanted to have a trip sitter at that point. So I waited with the acid till I think it was a Friday, like the start of the weekend. So friends came over. We were kind of chilling, preparing the house, having pizza, some drinks. They haven't really tried anything before. They were fresh as me, but they really they didn't really want to try LSD first time. They were like, I want to try something else. Like they smoked quite a lot of weed before. Like they didn't really go onto like the harder drugs. But I wouldn't say like LSD is really like hard. But I mean, people say that like, let's say Molly, LSD, like these are like harder drugs. This is like not weed. LSD, you really gotta have a respect for the drug. Like it can really kick you nuts. It can really kick you hard if you like disrespect it and be like fuck it and take like 4 tabs at once first time. It's not gonna go right. It's simply not gonna go right. The Friday evening comes. The Friday evening arises. I had 3 white bowls and I decided to separate everything everyone was taking at night into one separate bowl. I had ecstasy pills for my friends. They had like one and the other one had one. But what they did was that I prepared them by cutting them in half. They didn't want to take a whole tab because these ones were really strong. I think one had like 230 milligrams, which is like a lot because from 150 on 180 it's like heavy dosage, so it was like much. They took half a tab and I popped my acid. What I was maybe supposed to do was to take 1 tab, which would be 120 micrograms, but I didn't. I was like, I want to trip harder, I want to see like colorful shit, I want everything to move, to vibrate, but I didn't really take fully into consideration what's gonna happen. Anyways, I didn't really take 2 full tabs, it was like almost full because I tested my acid with test kits, with Hoffman test kit and Ehrlich, I hopefully pronounced it correctly, test kit. They came out to be acid, like even though I tasted it, it didn't taste anything, so it was like I heard another good sign that it's like good shit because it's not supposed to taste like anything. So that was like great. And while having that in my mouth, I was really nervous. I was like, holy shit, what am I doing? And once like the 15-20 minutes passed, it just simply like dissolved by itself. I didn't really like bite into it or anything, it just simply dissolved by itself. So I was like, okay, at that point I couldn't really do anything. Like once it dissolves and goes into, I think, your bloodstream, you can't go back, my friend. You can't go back. So my friends are like not even coming up on the ecstasy yet. They're not coming up. So we're just like waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. And when I was starting to come up on like a little bit above 200 micrograms, shit was kind of like getting crazy. Like I got such a huge body euphoria and things were getting like so intense to me. Like I couldn't handle it. It was pretty much to me. I had that point I was thinking I should have taken only 1 tab, not almost 2 tabs, because as I said before, the second tab had like cut off corners because I used them to test the acid, and I was tripping. I started tripping. Like everything started to move a little bit. Colors were like lighter. I got like pretty high euphoria. I started like listening to music, screaming like a mental person, just going all out. And my friends haven't really come up on the ecstasy yet. It was taking kind of long time for them. So once I think like almost another hour passed, things were getting better. Like everyone was like started chatting, moving and stuff, and we really, that night for us wasn't really like that much that you would expect from ecstasy, to just jump around and do stupid shit. We were mostly actually talking. We were just like sitting and having like deep ass conversations that night. Like we were kind of like, we had some points where we were just screaming, jumping like fucking maniacs. Like my and my friends' laughs at some points were just, if you heard it as a sober person, we would sound like we were insane. Like we would sound like we're a bunch of fucking crazies. We were just like screaming like mentally ill people, like witches that you see in horror movies. Just that was like sinister ass screams. At some point I laughed so hard, like I got like really hard stomach pain. Like I was flexing my abs so hard, like I went in a long and heavy ab workout. So I had to like cool down. I couldn't stop laughing. I was just so, I was feeling nice. But when the acid really started kicking in, I think it was like after 2 or 2.5 hours, I couldn't handle it. That was like a lot. Like shit was spinning, colors were like light, my carpet was alive, she was going crazy. So I was like, oh shit, I'm not feeling so well. And like my friend got me the trash can, and I started like throwing up pretty hard in the trash can. Like that was a strong push out of my body. It didn't feel as bad as you do it sober, but it still wasn't like good. Like I felt my stomach burning, but I kind of felt better after I threw up. I mean, I still had the visuals, like they don't go away, they just stay there with you. But I don't know, I kind of felt better, like I didn't want to throw up anymore. I was like, good. I was feeling nice. So after that, things were getting just way and more intense. Things were getting just more intense. My acid was coming up. My friends were like rolling pretty hard on Molly. They were like, their jaws were not really clenching so hard, but they were just like right and left. Shit was going crazy. We were talking. Everyone, mostly them though, because I wasn't really off Molly. I was rolling on acid at that point. They were like really open about subjects that we didn't really talk about normally. Like it's something, this is like a stigma, like you don't really talk about some subjects with people, things that really mean a lot to you. And it was especially like girls, especially like it's like you somehow talk about them, you'd be like, yeah, they cool, whatever. But on acid, that was like straight up I don't give a fuck way of talking about them. Not sexually, but they just were so open about their emotions. That was pretty insane. I was like listening to this, oh fuck yeah, I like this. Like that was a nice weekend. We were tripping hard. The time went, I think after like let's say 3-4 hours. Yeah, around 3 hours I think. The one of the friends, he didn't really want to pop anymore. He was like, I'm good of half a tab, not really tab, half a pill, yeah, of ecstasy. So he was like, okay, good, like we're not forcing anyone. But the second friend, he wanted to pop another half, so he popped it, waited like maybe 40 another minutes, and then shit kicked in again. So we were like chilling, chatting, and the other friend was like still good. He was like good, but he wasn't that blown up like the other friend. We can just call him Jack and Joe, simply for the name purposes. So it sounds like really classic American. So Jack was still tripping pretty nicely. Jack was good, but he wasn't that blown up. Yeah, he was alright, but it wasn't the same thing that Joe felt. Joe was just like talking out of his way. He was blown. He was feeling good. You know what I mean? He was feeling good. So after another 2 hours passed of like chatting and having a good ass time and getting to know each other on like another level, his ecstasy started going down, and I was still tripping. I think maybe like after 9 or 10 hours after I dropped acid, I started coming down slowly. Like things were getting less visual, and I was just, kind of feeling relaxed. Things were going down. And it was after midnight, like around 1 a.m., that I felt, yeah, I'm feeling like kind of sober, like things have gone down, things are nice. And then Joe decided, I want to try acid as well. Like, he wanted to try acid as well. He was like, oh, I was like, okay, Joe, you can try acid. I don't mind that. You can still try acid. It's cool with me. So he didn't, of course, say like 2 tabs, but he took 1 tab which was like 120 micrograms. So he dropped it. At that point, I was getting kind of tired. I was kind of sleepy and shit. Like Jack, I think he went asleep 1 hour later after he dropped. He just like was tired. He just went to sleep. But I told Joe I'm gonna be with him and I'm gonna like trip sit him and stuff like that. Even though I didn't really have much experience, that was like my first time dropping. But it's better than no one, right? It's better than nobody. He had someone to talk to. So Joe drops the acid, and after, I don't know, maybe like 1.5 hour, shit started kicking in. He told me like he sees stuff moving, like the bottles we had like cola bottles. They were like bending in like into each other, like morphing inside. And I had the same experience that he had. Like when we were looking at PC screens, it looked like they were kind of folding inside, like a ball. So when you look at a screen from the front, it was like kind of curving into back of the screen, like going back. Like at least that's what I felt. But I was of a higher dosage. But everyone is like different. Everyone has a different sensitivity to any kind of substance, so it's like it's not the same for everyone. I don't know what he saw. He could only explain it. He didn't know what I saw. I could only explain it. It's your own personal experience. You can't really like explain it, right? So we were having a good time. It was like 2, 3, 4 a.m. Things were passing by. We were talking. He started coming up pretty hard. So it was like 5 a.m. And I was like, okay, we can make the bed. Like I'm kind of getting tired, you know what I mean? So we go to sleep, we lie down, and we are talking. And he was at the peak of his acid. Like, we are lying in the bed at like 5 a.m., 5:30 in the morning. We're just lying in the bed, and he has a peak on the acid. It wasn't much, like, he wasn't really like that blown because he was rolling on 120 micrograms. But he said it was pretty nice and intense, so I just believe him. He said like she was moving because we still had the Christmas tree out, and he said the Christmas tree was like moving and shit, like the walls were moving, everything was walking, like not walking, but things were like fading and waving and stuff like that. And when he closed his eyes, we're just lying there, and he's like, dude, I see some trains. I'm like, what the fuck? What kind of trains do you see? And he's like, well, it's not like real kind of trains, but he saw like when he closed his eyes, he had like pretty crazy visuals where like things were spinning like trains, like some different kind of closed eye visuals. I didn't really feel them like that when I was tripping. I felt like patterns, like shit was like light and patterns were going on. That's what I saw, but apparently he saw some trains, so okay, nice. And he also saw the carpet on the floor being alive. I didn't feel alone anymore at that point. It was nice. I didn't feel alone with the carpet thing. Like the carpet started feeling alive. So it's like almost 6 a.m. I was like really, really tired. And I told him I'm gonna trip sit him for the whole night. Like, I'm not gonna go to sleep. And it was almost 6 a.m., around 6 a.m. And I just fell asleep while he was around his peak of acid. From all the time I've watched him, like, nothing really suspicious happened. He was acting normal. He wasn't really, like, too crazy for him. He had, like, those nice visuals, that little euphoria. But he didn't really do any stupid ass shit. So I kind of were cool with him. I wasn't really stressed, but I should have definitely watched him a little bit longer. He could have done some weird shit. You don't really know until you try. That was his first time as well. I was so tired that while lying in bed in a dark room, I just fell asleep. And and I wake up the next day. It was, I think, 11 a.m. We wake up, like, I say hello, what's up, like, we shaking hands and shit, like, we had a great time. I ask him, like, I say, I'm sorry, I fell asleep, and he's like, okay, it's all good. Because Joe somehow managed to fall asleep at the peak of his acid. Like, I have no idea how he did that. Maybe because, like, the molly kicked in before and kind of got him tired because, like, it was going down and stuff. I have no idea, but it wasn't a candy flip though, because the molly came off him before he dropped acid. Like, it wasn't together, so it wasn't like a candy flip. Imagine if for the first time he candy flipped with those strong ass ecstasy pills. Holy shit! I can't wait to try candy flipping, but I still wait for the ecstasy tolerance to drop so I can have like the magic experience. Because I really work on the balance of the things I do. I don't want to do them too often. I want to have a balance and kind of sort things out so I don't do them too often. So I wait for the tolerance to drop to absolute zero, and then I drop feeling like a god, like completely coming off fresh. That's what I like to do, and that's really what you should do if you don't want permanent brain damage, especially with Molly, because don't get me wrong, it's great, but I still don't recommend it to everyone watching. But it's still something that has like a really long tolerance. It's incredibly long. And the whole weekend was great. Everything was going as planned. Nothing really happened that was not really like a part of the plan. Everything was going pretty nicely. Everyone had a great time, even Jack, even though he fell asleep at like 2 a.m. because he was tired, but still, we had a great time. That was nice. We were just chilling, having a great talk. The same thing with Joe. But Joe was like, he was at that point he was at my house and he was like, I'm at your house in this weekend, and this is my first time trying Molly. I'm not gonna waste the chance of trying acid as well. Like as we have it here, I'm not gonna waste the chance. So he just dropped it. Like these guys are great people. Like, we had a good time. We will end this video here, and this is it. See you guys later.